when in Europe, and Basha and Nathan were married, and Harry was born, and Mary was born. Um, uh, Nathan was in the Russian army. Uh, Children, whether you're Jewish or Catholic, Roman Catholic, uh, you had to join the Russian army. One of the children. Um, I believe that the eldest son was the recipient of the property that the grandfather owned. So rather than send the older son to the army, uh, Nathan went in his brother's place so that the property could be passed on to the eldest son. And Nathan went into the army. And he was wounded and uh, behaved himself in the military, in the Russian military, very well, and became um, a very well respected soldier. I'm not even sure he may even have become a young officer. And he re-enlisted himself. He did his military um, 2 years that you have to do, and then liked it so much rather than go back to the farm, he stayed in the military, and he was a pretty tough Russian soldier. Um, when they decided uh, with the Russian pogroms and everything, and they decided to come to America, Nathan came first. And that's when the whole European explosion started with the Russian Revolution. And now all the Jews are being persecuted by the Russians, and Basha and Harry and Mary went on this march, this trek.
Were they on their own or with other families?
No, alone. The three of them alone. I mean, the whole village probably left, but they went on their own. And they just ran and hid, ran and hid, ran and hid. And they either walked during the day and slept in barns at night, or they walked during the night and slept in barns during the day. They would find, some apple trees and shit like that. Occasionally they would catch a chicken, and they survived that way. And the distance that they traveled was thousands of miles, a lot of miles. And it took them a couple of years to do this, all during that period. And they survived. And as a result of that, I guess it made Harry pretty tough. He had to take care of his sister and mother, and there were tough times to live in, and he had to be tough to survive. So when he got here, he was not somebody to mess with. His first reaction was to defend, and when his father tried to take over the new family and he'd give him orders, Harry was not taking orders from his father. His attitude was, fuck you, you weren't there when I needed you, and now look, you went and got married again, and don't even fucking talk to me. He just, and as big and tough as his father was, Harry took no shit from him. And eventually he left him. Go to visit his mother. And Basha was now the matriarch of the family. She now had Al and Sam, and she had new children. The whole thing was really screwy.
So
But it wasn't his fault. It wasn't Nathan's fault. He thought they were dead.
And so Basia was okay getting back together with Nathan, even though he had this other family.
Yeah, it wasn't so much he was okay with it. Where
She
was
didn't have a choice.
when he found out that they were still alive? He had brought them here. The Jewish community here had all told him, they're dead. Here's a woman, start a new life. The rabbis and the Jewish community. Nathan was a religious Jew, and so he got married to a woman. He believed it. Now somehow a letter came from Europe that that Basha and Harry and Mary were alive, and he was stuck. I got children, I got a wife, and she went crazy, and I think she jumped off a roof and committed suicide. And now his life was all up in the air. And he sent for Basha and Harry, and they weren't crazy happy to see him either because they were left in turmoil. So they didn't have an easy time of it. And he still was Nathan was still a tough Russian soldier kind of guy, and he wasn't going to take shit from Harry, and Harry wasn't taking shit from him. There was a conflict there. Understandably so. But he made friends easily. Harry did. Especially he was in this sewing machine industry, and my family was in my mother's family was in the sewing machine industry. And he made friends with my mother's sister's husband, Ben, Elaine's father, and Milton, and all of these guys that they used to rob shit together. And Ben had a truck, and they would steal sewing machines, and my uncles would sell them, and they were a rogue crew.